It's the world we live in. That's another thing I tend to say when I digress. But I don't want to digress. In fact, this is something I've been wanting to talk about for years now. No, it doesn't threaten my manhood. No, I don't consider it any kind of threat. No, it's something I felt I should always put in the history books because it will most likely be the most sincere, original, and needlessly frustrating thing in what is supposed to be a free world that cannot comprehend the difference between disagreement/criticism and hate. Now, I know the taboo thing to do is look the other way because, oh shit, this is the LGBT community we're talking about here. They're so sacred. You will get your ass canceled. You will get deplatformed. Everything about your life will seemingly get deleted. Don't you dare take any kind of stand against the LGBT because one of the most delusional things about this community, this cult, is that they like to compare it to racism and other objectively bigoted things that this country has been guilty of in the past. Well, I'm here to break down some specifics, whether you can stomach it or not. All of you people out there that swear you want someone to be honest, you swear that you don't like to be lied to, but yet you can't handle the truth or someone else's truth, your asses will learn a lesson like no other today. I think the best way to kick this off is to express my truths. If you haven't guessed it by now, I don't support the LGBT in any way beliefs-wise. I believe relationships as well as marriage belong between a man and a woman. Call me traditional, call me a fossil, I don't give a shit. Those have always been my beliefs before you actually got to know me. Misgendering is nothing more than a delusion of grandeur. Trannies are an abomination. When people call you a bigot and a homophobe because you say shit like that, especially when it comes to misgendering, pronoun usage, whatever you want to call it, I find these people to be the most laughable in the LGBT cult because they'll rant and rave all day long about someone not accepting them for who they are, being all kinds of disrespectful and bigoted to them, but they're the main ones that refuse to accept their biological stamp. Ladies and gents, or whatever you want to identify as, I'm not sorry to reveal this shocking reality to you, but no matter what you think, no matter what you replace, your biological stamp doesn't lie any more than you can erase it. Reality doesn't give a shit about the science, medical and mental implications. Remember the whole chromosome thing. You go up against nature the natural way it's supposed to be just because you want to live a lie, live something that you're not, and you dare call other people bigoted. You dare say someone is misgendering you. I think the biggest way to describe the extremists in the LGBT cult is to accept them as the people that masquerade around like they're some kind of victim just to provide a smokescreen for their hypocrisy and predatory ways. Don't worry, I'll explain that, but getting back to the misgendering and trannies, if I'm bigoted for saying that, then you're bigoted for not accepting your biological stamp. Maybe we're twins after all. I personally find the whole way of life disgusting. It's absolutely cringeworthy to me. Remember what I said about predatory tendencies? Well, answer this, LGBT extremists. Why is it that you can live your truths, but anyone, because they don't agree with them, can't? I know that there are LGBT people out there doing what they do, and I don't know have I ever had a problem with that. I have no problem with you people in general, because a disagreement isn't hate. And the reason I feel that way and have always felt that way, it's not because I'm any kind of religious, because I'm not. Just like I'm nowhere near perfect. I'll be the first to proudly admit that. No, it's just simply because I'm one of those people, and call me self-righteous or whatever, that like to think that living a life with boundaries and values will not necessarily get me into any kind of heaven if you believe in that sort of thing, but it makes me a symbol of something else the world sorely lacks. Someone who dares stand for something rather than fall for everything. I try to be accountable. I prefer to be sincere. I prefer to have morality. And furthermore, I live by principles. I don't proclaim to know the universe's secrets. I prefer to be true to myself as much as the LGBT are allowed to be. If the LGBT are allowed to live their true selves, then why can't people like myself and the baby, who dare to not be contrarian, but dare to speak against their nation? I mean, what the fuck are we in medieval times? Walk on eggshells? Jump on the bandwagon? And this is why I said this, because I know exactly how people are. All I can say is live on, because people will only only give a shit about benefactors. This guy got canceled in a couple of states after making these homophobic remarks.
You didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks. Put a cell phone light in the air. Lady, if your pussy smell like water, put a cell phone light in the air. Fellas,
lights up.
Fellas, if you ain't sucking nigga dick in the parking lot, put your cell phone lights in the air.
Let's be real about this shit.
Yeah, keep it fucking real.
Some of y'all niggas suspect as a motherfucker. Let's be real.
Anybody who's a fan of hip-hop knows that these are typical lyrics in any of the shit that they make in the studio. People don't have a problem with that otherwise until now, or unless it's convenient. So why all of a sudden are the lyrics derogatory and offensive? Who wrote this article? And this, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly why garbage journalism and garbage media is the easiest profession to get into. Who needs to do research and who needs to be anything but biased?
Never have I felt more like a fossil, because I'm one of those pussies that live to be offended by any and everything that I don't agree with, because I don't live in a world that revolves around me.
Dude, I'm pretty sure you were a fossil way before the baby even existed. Have you ever even listened to rap music a day in your life? Even though I'm not a big fan of rap music, I can guarantee that I've heard much more derogatory lyrics, and yet no one bats an eye until it's convenient. Personally, I don't see anything homophobic here, because do you not do all of those things? Where are all of those closeted LGBT people? Why are you even living in a closet? You need to choose. Live your lives offended by everything or unapologetically. You can't keep choosing to be conveniently offended just because this is your way of deleting your problems. There goes those predatory tendencies I was speaking of concerning the LGBT. Because it isn't just this. By the way, listen to more rap music if you're a fossil who's suddenly offended by some lyrics in rap music. What's the next best thing to happen? Well, aside from more garbage journalism, you get canceled. That's the next thing. Why is that, LGBT? Yeah, he got support from T.I. and Miley Cyrus, who I would honestly rather hear less about, but at least her approach was much more human than what you get from the LGBT extremists. She offers an open dialogue, while T.I. puts your asses in your place by calling you fake ass victims what you truly are. Bullies. Again with the irony. And that's exactly what you do, LGBT extremists. No one can have any kind of opinion but a supportive one for you assholes, because otherwise they're homophobic, they're a bigot, and you will bully and cancel them. But yet you all bitch and moan about shit like equality, wanting to be treated with respect, but yet you can't dish any of that out when there is any kind of disagreement and criticism that doesn't support the LGBT way. That's why I have no respect for, well, that's the reason I've been calling this community a cult this entire video, because I don't have any respect for bullies. A bully is a bully no matter who you are, if you have to go out of your way to do the shit you're doing to people like the baby, because they don't support you. The world isn't perfect. Everyone isn't going to support what you support. They're not going to believe what you believe in. They're going to criticize you. They're going to disagree with you. But that doesn't make them a homophobe. That doesn't make them a bigot. And they don't deserve to be canceled and harassed any more than you assholes claim is everyday strife to your community. Don't you know the best way to get people to see your point of view is to not become the thing you hate? Then there are two-faced assholes like this Dua Lipa bitch. Fuck Dua Lipa and any kinds of Dua Lipas out there, and I don't care if I'm butchering her name. This bitch did a collaboration with the baby, and now she doesn't recognize him because, oh my gosh, she supports the LGBT, and he made these homophobic remarks. I only have this priceless question to ask the Dua Lipas of the world. Since when did I ever agree to a character interview with you? It goes back to the hypocritical and predatory tendencies of a community full of fake ass heroes providing said smokescreen. You haven't looked in the mirror yet, have you? You all aren't gonna die heroes. You're not heroes. You're proving to be more and more like the villains by matching them on every level of bigotry you can, because you, just like the rest of the world when it comes to criticism and disagreements, you mislabel and treat that shit like it's hate. If there's an absurd use, if not abuse, of the prefix miss, it's not misgendering, it's misunderstanding, it's miscommunication, and it's mislabeling of anyone who dares to disagree with you all. Oh, and look at this. Pride Month 2021, Pride Month 2020. 55 brands, 25 brands, 15 brands, 28 LGBTQ owned brands. I'm willing to bet that a lot of it isn't with good intentions. You see all of these spineless corporations out here going along to get along. Why? Because there's that financial incentive. But hey, you get 1 month to get on a fucking bullhorn because you need to be validated that way. And they get to parade around with you because they're spineless asses are afraid of any kind of canceling and bullying you would do to them otherwise. I mean, I'm pretty sure the thought in their heads is, oh shit, watch them stocks. We don't want to deal with any bullshit that Activision and Blizzard are dealing with right now. So yeah, don't think this isn't financially motivated. We all have our views, so no one is better than the other forcing theirs on others. As I said before, if you're allowed to live your truth, let me live mine without you mislabeling me as some kind of bigot because I dare to not support you. I've always thought my own thoughts. There are no strings on me because only I rule over me. And that's what people like the LGBT have to comprehend. I don't give a shit about you exercising your free will, your rights to sleep with whoever, identify as whatever, but I will reserve my right to support and agree or disagree with whatever the fuck I please. I've worked with a lot of people that would love to be a part of this community. I've known some cool gay people. I find Ellen DeGeneres hard to hate for many obvious reasons because at the end of the day, ladies and gents, my beliefs, my thoughts, etc. don't have anything to do with your life choices, and they shouldn't. I feel the LGBT, just like any other human being, have rights to exist, have the right to the same jobs that I qualify for. Get this one as well. I don't feel they should be bullied and harassed for the choices they make. I wouldn't even give a shit if you're part of my audience and personal space because just like skin color, I don't see your sexual orientation. I see character and actions above all else. And that's the whole point of this video and message to the LGBT and any other people out there that act more like a cult and exude the same toxicity as their villains, but masquerade around like they're some kind of fucking hero instead. Self-reflect. We all have our truths, and that's perfectly fine regardless of what any of us think, myself included. But the moment you force yourself on others and act like you've been wronged in any kind of way because the world doesn't revolve around you, you're no better than your bullies. Holy shit, now some fashion retailer boohoo man. And UK's Parklight Festival lineup has also canceled the baby. And that's what typically happens, LGBT cult, so I guess you got your victory. I mean, this is the outcome you always want for anyone who dares criticize you people. You want people to be canceled, right? You want people to be deleted, because if this isn't some LGBTQIA plus minus HD OLED XYZABC 1 2 3 totalitarian world, then it's a world that doesn't deserve to exist, right? You know what's funny? To this day, there's still a debate going on if white people should say the N-word the way the black people say it to each other. Whether you say it the black people way or the original and actually offensive way, there's no difference. So why is it a problem if white people say it, especially when it's in the lyrics? And again, fuck all the Elton Johns, no surprise there, Questlove and Dua Lipas of the world, because you're either with them or against them. So there's no intelligence in reasoning with those types of fools. But this is what happens if you dare oppose the totalitarian LGBT cult. And you all thought this was a free country. Anyone remember the saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never break me, hurt me? There's so many iterations of the saying, but yeah, it essentially goes like that. Try applying that into this delicate bubble of a world that these types of people live in. Of course, it was always meant to be advice and insinuate that, yeah, you can hurt me physically, but words shouldn't. But now all you have are people weaponizing those words more than the originator. But yet again, this is supposed to be a free country, except those are just conditional freedoms. If it's good for Lil Nas X to do his thing in peace, it should be perfectly okay for the baby all the same. If it's okay for punk ass spineless corporations out there who are financially motivated, by the way, to pander to you, it should be perfectly okay for people who haven't sold out, who can't be bought off, and think their own thoughts without some strings controlling them to oppose, to disagree, to criticize you all the same. If you want to be any kind of hero, if you want to be the victims, stop competing with the same bigotry you harass and bully anyone who doesn't support you with.